Austin Faith Dialogue, at the crossroads of religion and life, a series highlighting the cultural and social interactions with the worshiping and religious communities in and around the capital city. Austin Faith Dialogue is brought to you by the Austin Area Interreligious Ministries in cooperation with KNVA. Join us now for Austin Faith Dialogue.
We're glad you're here today for Austin Faith Dialogue. We have a real treat. We're talking to a brand new member of the Austin Area Interreligious Ministries Board who'll be talking about his faith journey, his faith community, the Islamic community here in Austin, and about a new program of Austin Area Interreligious Ministry. So our guest today is Dr. Siddiqi, and we're so glad you're here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And now you are a brand new member of the board of Austin Area Interreligious Ministries. I wonder why you said yes. I'm sure you have plenty of things to do already, so why did you say yes to this opportunity?
I guess what really got me interested in AIM was I attended some of their functions, some of their activities. Their programs were excellent. The first one I think I attended was a joint breaking of fast between the Jewish community and the Muslim community. That was a great event. The second one was the Thanksgiving event, Thanksgiving service, and that was incredible with all the faiths up there, showing their colors, their different languages, their religious beliefs and so on. So those really attracted me to the group. And I felt like, given the current situation in the world where there's a lot of prejudice and sort of misunderstanding or misperceptions about Islam and Muslims, I felt a real urgent need for me to sort of tell people about Islam and Muslims. So this would be a perfect group through which I could get that message out.
So what do you hope to be able to do then as a board member?
Well, I hope through some of their events, some of their activities, that we can portray the Muslim culture, Islam, the religion of Islam, and hopefully that'll get people more acquainted with it, where they won't have that sort of prejudice or fear of Muslims. I had an interesting encounter just a few days ago, actually, where a person had a great idea for Muslims to hold a peace rally. But that person, when he told his friends he was going to the mosques to share the ideas with the Muslim community, his friends said that, you must be crazy. You don't want to go there. If you go there, cover up your license plate number and stuff like that. So that was a real awakening call, basically, to say that, the amount of fear in the community is kind of...
There's still work to be done.
Oh, plenty of work, a lot of work.
And do you find that the fear is on the part of the Muslim community here in town, or the fear on the part of others?
I think it goes both ways, because the Muslim community also is, fearful of saying anything in public or doing anything because of, the new laws and stuff where you could be held for a long time without a trial and stuff. So that does definitely, I think, and it's not just Muslims, I think all of Americans, I think our liberties have been curtailed a bit through those. So that's on the Muslim side. And on the other side, I think the people who aren't familiar with Islam or Muslims, they see all these images in the news and all this violence going on around the world, and they think that, oh, Muslims must be violent and stuff. But,
well, now you're a member of the North Austin Muslim Community Center out on North Lamar. So tell us a little bit about your faith community and the kinds of things that go on out there.
Okay. Why don't I start with a little introduction to Islam,
Good idea.
What it is and stuff. First of all, it's a faith that's practiced by 1.3 billion people in the world, which is 1 out of every 5 human being in the world claims to be a Muslim. In the U.S., there are about 7 million people who claim to be Muslim, and it is the fastest growing religion in the world. So I think it's very important that people understand Islam and what Muslims are.
And I guess then we couldn't stereotype a Muslim if there are that many millions, billions of people. All kinds of folks are Muslim.
Exactly. It's amazing the diversity of Muslim cultures and even thought. It's incredible, because even if you go to our mosque, in any of the mosques, you'll see there are people of all colors. There are people from all the way from Mongoloid features. You know, Indonesia it's the largest Muslim country actually, and their features are more Chinese-like. And the greatest population of Muslims as a group is probably in South Asia, which is, you know, India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Those are huge Muslim countries. So most people have this image that Muslims are Middle Eastern or Arab-speaking people. Actually, the Arabs make up less than 20% of the whole global Muslim population. So there's a huge diversity of cultures and thought in the Muslim world.
So it's a faith that welcomes all and speaks to all kinds of people. And what else can you tell us about Islam?
Islam, I guess if we start from basic, Islam means peace or submission to the will of God. The basic definition is that one who submits to the will of God. So I guess you could say that Islam is a way of life that was, we say, you know, brought to the message that was given to different prophets at different times. And the first prophet we trace is Adam. Adam was the first prophet of Islam. And so we say that Adam, you know, Noah, Jesus, Moses, you know, Muhammad, they were all prophets of Islam, and they basically brought the message of Islam to the people. So, you know, a lot of people think that when did Islam start? Islam actually started with Adam. So we consider all the prophets to be Muslims. Muslim means to have submitted yourself to the will of God.
So you might say there have been different revelations at different stages in human history.
Right, right. But the message, we think that since God is one, we're very strong monotheists. So we believe God is one. And, you know, the message comes from the same source. So all the messengers are bringing basically the same message, but appropriate for the different times. And, you know, and all their followers who bow themselves to the will of God, who surrendered themselves to the will of God, are also Muslims. So a true follower of Jesus or, you know, of Moses would also be considered Muslims.
And I assume that in Islam, just like in Christianity and Judaism, there are different branches of the same family. That's true in Islam too, right?
Islam is kind of, there is branches. I mean, that happened early on, mostly political reason. You hear about the Shia and Sunni divide. That was a political divide early on in Islam. So basically what happened was, you know, the majority of people said that succession in who leads the ummah, the community, would happen through elections or selection process. Whereas the Shia, which means party of Ali, thought that it should come down through his you know, progeny. So that's where we had the original split. But the amazing thing about Islam, I think, is that, you know, that no matter where you go in the world, this was something that I also experienced this time in my travel to Egypt. You know, I went to a remote village, and I went to pray there at the mosque. And the prayer was exactly the same as I would have done it in Bangladesh, or I would have done it in, you know, in Austin. So you feel, and there's no, like you asked me, you know, which congregation I was part of, or, you know, the North Austin Mosque. Actually, we're not any member of any one mosque. So we sort of go to any of the mosques that are closest to us, or that we prefer to go to. So we really don't belong to one group or anything like that. So I think that really fosters a lot of unity and a lot of brotherhood. Because you're free to sort of move around, and everything all across from Indonesia all the way to Morocco, or even through the US. You know, it's you feel comfortable in any mosque in all over the world.
In the particular mosque that you attend, then what would we find there in terms of diversity of people and programming? How is Islam lived out in the North Austin Muslim Community Center?
I think you know, there you have quite a diverse group of people, as I mentioned. It's a lot of people from the Indian subcontinent, a lot of people, Arab people as well, throughout the Arab world. So you have a mix there, and there are some, of course, American Muslims from whether the Anglo-Saxon community or the black community that are members there as well. So it's very interesting. Any of the mosques that you go to, you see this diversity of people at that mosque. And so essentially, I think, you know, the mosque is a place where we just get together and sort of pray together, as well as exchange our diverse views.
And I understand that you all have just about outgrown your space, which actually says a lot about the growth of the Muslim community in Austin, right?
Yes, we definitely have. Right now we have our main prayer, or our biggest congregation of the week is on Friday. And right now we have 2 services on Friday at that mosque, at the North Mosque. And they both overflow. And it's difficult to get parking and all that. So we built a new center there, and hopefully that'll help in that situation.
Now, your mosque isn't participating as a member of Austin Area Interreligious Ministries yet, right?
That's correct. They're not quite a member yet. There's a process through which you apply for membership and become an official member. But the mosque does participate in AIMS events. Like I think we're going to talk later about the Interfaith Passport program, which is an excellent program. And one of those events will be held at the mosque. So during that event, anyone's free to come in. You'll actually be witnessing, or you can even participate in an actual prayer that happens. And you get to ask questions and meet people there and exchange views.
An open house, only more so.
Yes.
So there's worship that happens at the North Austin Muslim Community Center, and what else happens there?
There's also school
education,
there.
I assume?
Yes, there's also an Islamic school there. It's a Sunday school where children come from all over town, and essentially, you have it's sort of side by side with the mosque, the school.
Now some congregations, Christian congregations, Jewish and others, are really neighborhood-based. Is that the case for this particular mosque? Or do people come from literally all over?
Well, we don't have that many mosques. We have like 6 or 7 in the city. So you do have people driving from long distances going to that mosque. I mean, my example is a perfect one. I go all the way from West Austin, all the way there to North Austin to attend that prayer. It's the most convenient time for me. And most of my friends go there, so it's good to meet up with them after the prayers.
What is your particular role within the mosque? I know you're on the AIM board, but within the mosque itself, what responsibility do you have?
Actually, I'm not a part of any mosque committee or anything like that.
Not in the leadership yet, perhaps,
no.
Right? Although I can see you working as an ambassador,
yes,
from the rest of the community to the mosque and vice versa.
Exactly. And I'd really like the mosque to get involved with more AIM activities and actually become a member of AIM.
And when we come back then in the second part of the show, we can talk about the Interfaith Passport program, about the Thanksgiving service, and all kinds of other ways that we're going to be in community with each other this year. Okay,
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We thank you for being here for the first half of the show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.